Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here because we're looking at something that represents a completely new paradigm in the artificial intelligence space. Right now, if you look around, the entire industry seems utterly obsessed with brute force. We spend so much time talking about which AI is the smartest, which one has the most massive cluster of GPUs, or which model has hundreds of billions of parameters. It's basically an endless race for raw power. But today, we're unpacking a fascinating new release from Sakana AI called Fugu. And Fugu isn't fighting for the smartest model crown by just bulking up. Instead, it introduces us to a completely different concept. It's what we call the AI conductor. So I want to hook you with a simple thought experiment right off the bat. Imagine a world where you never again have to sit there, staring at your screen, wondering which model to pick. Think about your daily workflow. How often do you paste a coding problem into one chatbot, only to realize another AI might actually write better code? Or maybe you then jump over to a third option because it has better real-time research capabilities. Honestly, context switching is exhausting. But what if you just didn't have to choose? What if you had an AI manager, a conductor, that quietly looked at your task and decided for you right behind the scenes? You just send one request, and a master AI quietly assembles a specialized team, assigns them roles, checks their work, and hands you back a clean, polished answer. You never even see the team. You just see the brilliant result. Okay, let's dive into this. The old way of using AI, which is basically how it's worked since day one, is entirely linear. You talk to one model, and you get one answer. Whatever model you picked, you are stuck with its strengths and its flaws for the entire task. If it's brilliant at coding, but terrible at logic, you simply have to eat that flaw and hope for the best. But the Fugu approach shifts the paradigm away from relying on a single, potentially flawed brain. You talk to Fugu, and Fugu then turns around and delegates to a whole pool of AI agents. It utilizes a coordinated team to synthesize and answer. It's literally the exact difference between hiring one really smart generalist to run your entire company versus hiring a whole specialized firm where everyone handles the exact task they are best at. Section 1. Meet the AI conductor. So how does this actually work under the hood? Let's get into the technical mechanics, because the secret sauce here isn't just that there are multiple agents working together. It's how they're being managed without relying on hard-coded, rigid rules written by human engineers. Fugu is a conductor model. It's a small AI, and its entire job is just making decisions. Which models do I wake up? What specific prompt do I give each of them? How long do I let them work? And how do I seamlessly merge their completely different answers into something coherent? Now, multi-agent tools have existed before, for sure, but usually a human programmer has to write a bunch of tedious rules to route the tasks. What makes Sakana's approach absolutely groundbreaking is that the orchestration itself is learned. Based on two major research papers Sakana published called Trinity and Conductor, they actually trained a model specifically on how to direct other models in natural language. It is a true organic AI conductor. And what's incredibly smart from a user perspective is how it scales. Sakana is shipping two versions. First, you have the standard Fugu, which is built for fast, everyday tasks where you just need quick speed. Think drafting a quick email or summarizing a document. You don't need to summon the entire roster of specialized agents for that. But then, you have Fugu Ultra. This is built for the deeply complex stuff. We're talking multi-step engineering problems, deep scientific reasoning, basically tasks where being wrong is incredibly expensive and you need massive computing power to verify the logic. And the best part? The seamless integration. Both sit behind one single API. As a user or a developer, you literally do not have to change your code at all. You just ask a harder question and Fugu automatically pulls from a deeper, smarter bench. Section 2. Workflow. Research and learning. Let's pull this out of the abstract and look at a concrete example. We're going to examine exactly how this conductor operates when you, the user, are trying to genuinely learn a really difficult topic from scratch, like quantum computing. Here is the incredibly fast-paced process from your point of view. Step 1. You input a complex request. You type something like, "Explain quantum computing," and quiz me on it until I actually understand it. That is a massive, multifaceted ask for a standard chatbot. Step 2 happens instantly. Fugu reads that prompt, realizes this isn't a simple one-shot question, and automatically delegates it to an internal team. Step 3 is the output. You don't just get a massive wall of text that reads like a dry encyclopedia. You get an interactive, back-and-forth study session. One simple prompt triggers a full multi-stage educational workflow completely automatically. And this brilliantly illustrates what's going on behind the scenes. When you ask to learn about quantum computing, Fugu spins up 4 distinct internal agents to make that happen. First, you have the researcher agent. Its only job is to gather the core concepts and find the most common misconceptions people have about the topic. It completely ignores formatting and just digs for facts. It passes that raw data to the explainer agent, who takes that dense research and rewrites it into clear, plain language. But remember, you asked to be quizzed, so the examiner agent steps in, generating targeted questions based exactly on what the explainer just wrote. Finally, when you answer the quiz, the reviewer agent checks your work, flags what you got wrong, and adjusts the difficulty for the next round. All of this intense collaboration happens seamlessly in the background to teach you. You just experience a phenomenal tutor. Section 3. Workflow, Product Launch Strategy. Now let's look at a totally different scenario, moving to a product launch strategy. This demonstrates the immense value of multi-agent structures for complex, multi-stage business tasks, like launching a brand new online course from scratch. The speed and efficiency here are the real stars. Step 1. You request a complete course launch plan, just one single instruction. Think about why this is usually so hard for a normal AI. Standard chatbots often lose the context of your target audience by the time they get to step 4 of a business plan. But in step 2, the conductor model springs into action, triggering internal delegation and assembling a business strategy team where everyone retains their specific focus. And in step 3, instead of a generic outline, you receive a deeply stress-tested final strategy. You literally let the AI do all the heavy lifting of figuring out who needs to do what and in what order. For this business task, we have research, strategy, and content agents building out the market gaps, the positioning, and the actual course modules. But the most vital component here is the critic agent. This is absolutely essential for high-level business work. The critic is an adversarial agent deployed specifically to attack the plan that the other agents just built. Its entire function is to find weak points, logical flaws, and bad ideas before a real human audience ever sees them. It's going to point out if your pricing model contradicts your target demographic, for example. This adversarial step is something a single standard chatbot almost never does on its own. A normal AI gives you one highly optimistic, people-pleasing pass. Fugu gives you a plan that has actually survived an internal, rigorous debate. Section 4. Limitations and the reality. So, the crucial point is, as fascinating as this all is, we really need to take a step back. I want to shift our tone to be a bit more measured and objective right now, because it's our job to impartially evaluate these claims. Whenever a company releases a new AI, there is a lot of hype. And we need to look at the reality of Fugu's capabilities compared to frontier systems. The reality to remember is that vendor-reported does not equal independently verified. Sakana is positioning Fugu Ultra as performing right on par with some of the most capable frontier systems in the world on coding, science, and reasoning benchmarks. That is a massive, bold claim. And while it's incredibly promising, those are Sakana's own reported numbers. As of right now, independent third-party evaluations haven't fully confirmed this clean sweep yet. So the honest framing we should carry forward is that this technology is immensely promising, but it's not yet fully proven on a completely independent scale. We also have to look objectively at the real-world trade-offs here. First is latency. If one prompt quietly spins up 5 different model calls in the background, your response times and reliability might vary a lot more than just talking to a single static model. It's way more capable, but potentially less consistent. Then, there's a deeply fascinating geopolitical and business reality here. This system acts as a hedge against export controls. Recently, restrictions have limited international access to some major AI labs. Fugu acts as a strategic buffer. If access to one major model gets cut off by regulators, Fugu can just route around it and pull from whatever models are still available globally. It's a really clever resilience strategy for businesses. But remember the final trade-off. An orchestrator still needs capable underlying models to call upon. It cannot invent intelligence that isn't already there in the pool. Section 5. The next AI debate. So what does this all add up to? Let's bring the energy back up because we are looking at the overarching narrative of this explainer. This isn't just about one new product. No, this is about a paradigm shift that defines what the future of the entire AI industry is going to look like. The core debate of the industry moving forward comes down to 2 distinct paths. For the last few years, the race has been all about building the bigger model, scaling up brute force size to build one massive, omnipotent brain that tries to do absolutely everything on its own. But Sakana's Fugu represents a quiet bet on the smarter coordinator. The idea that the next massive leap isn't about size at all, it's about scaling up intelligent coordination. It's the belief that an efficient system, intelligently delegating to smaller, highly tuned specialists, is the actual sustainable path forward. And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. As we wrap up this 8-minute and 10-second explainer, I want to leave you with a final provocative question. Which future do you believe in? Do you think the future of AI is one massive brain, or is it a brilliant coordinator like Fugu quietly managing a team behind the scenes? I want to hear your thoughts on this debate, so please like, share, and subscribe, please. And drop a comment in comment box. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.